It's the 17th of June and I'm Tom Glasson. Welcome to The Roast. Now, I have to say, all this turmoil in the Middle East is really starting to scare me. In between World Cup football matches, I've been catching ads for the news and it's just terrible. To top off a bad week, I'm not sure the Socceroos will even win a game, so... Although in the grand scheme of things, the World Cup probably isn't that important. And yes, we would say that because we're not going to win anything. Tonight, a new report claims fewer Australians are on welfare, and we look into Middle Eastern terrorist group ISIS. Do we like what we see? No, of course not. If we did, they would be the worst terrorist group ever. First though, Mark Humphries has the headlines.
Cory Bernardi, the Liberal senator who speaks first and apologises later, has described America's Tea Party movement as pretty sensible. And the man would know, common sense lives on his website. Now, we don't have a Tea Party movement here in Australia, so let's hear some ideas from Americans involved in the movement. Get ready for sensible.
Bipartisanship is another name for date rape.
American scientific companies are crossbreeding humans and animals and coming up with mice with fully functioning human brains.
So the next time your Liberal friends talk about the separation of church and state, ask them why they're Nazis.
Pretty sensible. Cory made the comments in the wake of a shock win for a Tea Party candidate in the US primary elections and said the result demonstrates a wider trend.
The message seems very clear. The people want something different to what establishment politics is offering.
Fair enough. Occasionally I get sick of the two major parties, just like I get sick of beef and chicken. But I'll stick with beef and chicken if the other option is Fruit Loops. Victorian Premier Dennis Napthine has helped rescue an elderly victim of a car crash. And after MP Jeff Shaw's recent issues regarding his taxpayer-funded car, the Victorian Premier must really be wondering whether Australia needs more roads. But at least one politician is having better luck with cars. I'll have you buried in that car, Xenophon. Napthine, who retired from his career as a veterinarian for a quiet life as a state premier, assisted the woman onto a stretcher, but stopped short of having her neutered. Helping out in a crisis is a good image for Napthine and could lead to more politicians insisting they help in emergency situations. Hey, what's going on here? An arrest? I got this. This is going to be my Napthine moment. Oh, shit! Gobble. Hey, what's going on here? Open heart surgery. I got this. Nurse, get me 50cc stat. Oh, no, I don't mean the corn chips. Get me a body bag.
All right, just drop your pants.
Oh, what's going on here? Prostate exam, eh? I'm going to leave this one to you. To the US now, where Australian basketballer Patty Mills has helped the San Antonio Spurs to win the NBA championship with a 4-1 series win over the Miami Heat. It marks the first time regular Australians have been given a reason to care about basketball since Space Jam. Mills now becomes the first Indigenous Australian to win an NBA championship, and if he ever comes back and plays in the NBL, he'll also become the first Australian to be better than the US import players. Mills barely played in last year's finals, but has improved dramatically this year thanks to losing weight after he hired a personal chef in the off-season. So for any kids out there wanting to get better at basketball, hire a personal chef. Miami superstar LeBron James is understandably disappointed at the loss, but he's sure to get over it when he remembers he's LeBron James. And finally, a technique being pioneered in Britain could see painless fillings replace the dentist drill. I've pioneered my own technique for avoiding the dentist drill. It's called a toothbrush. Brush your teeth, you idiots! For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Thank you, Mark. Well, we are a comedy show, and as such, it's time we take a closer look at the extremist militant Islamic group that has violently wrested control of large parts of Iraq and Syria. ISIS. Nope, that is the goddess of motherhood, magic and fertility. Nope, that's not it. That's a not-for-profit working with children in Nepal. Yeah, a bird has violently wrested control of large parts of Iraq and Syria. Although, to be fair, ibises are the terrorists of the picnic area. No, ISIS, short for the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, has recently established strongholds in both those countries, employing a strategy of moving into dangerous areas while everyone else is too scared to enter. Not unlike hipsters moving into grungy suburbs and turning them into giant organic muffins. And with President Obama announcing this morning that the United States would send 275 troops to Iraq to try to stop the advance of ISIS, we have prepared a small package on who they are and what they want. Spoiler alert, it's hot chips. Sorry, no, that's ibises. It's actually all Muslims living in one Islamic state under Sharia law.
Established in 2004 in response to the US-led invasion of Iraq, ISIS, the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, are considered so extreme that ISIS has even been disowned by Al-Qaeda, which in terms of reputation is the terrorist equivalent of getting 100% on urban boom. The leader of ISIS is Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, a man who vowed never to stop looking for the other half of his beard, and who is said to be more anti-American than Osama bin Laden. So he's your new top pick in your fantasy terrorist league. And given bin Laden hated America's religion, freedom, and capitalism, al-Baghdadi must hate all that, plus the way Americans say aluminum, how cold it gets in Belmont, Ohio, and the fact that they remade rake. So how does ISIS finance its operations? Easily, after they robbed a bank in Mosul and made off with $425 million, along with one of those Cheney desk pens. And like celebrities who get free shit, they don't even need to buy weapons because ISIS recently captured American weapons, vehicles, and uniforms. So clearly al-Baghdadi doesn't hate everything American. But what now for the Middle East? ISIS controls large stretches of Iraq and Syria, and now they've got their sights set on all these places. So what is the world planning to do? Obama is sending 275 troops, enough to protect the American embassy, but not the embassy's next-door neighbor. So now you know about ISIS, and knowledge is power. But also so is a massive arsenal, $425 million, control of oil reserves, and a terrifying ambition to take over the Middle East. But hey, at least you got knowledge. For The Roast, I'm Jazz Twemlow.
If only this was all just about ibises and hot chips, it wouldn't be so bad. It really puts things into perspective. Ibises are still pretty shit though. So the big question now is whether America will be drawn back into another war in Iraq. Because you know America's motto, if at first you don't succeed, try, 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 try. We'll be right back. Try, 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 try.
While Tom repeatedly says try, why don't you jump online and answer tonight's question? Have you got a solution to this complex Middle Eastern crisis? Is it exactly 140 characters long? Why are you keeping it to yourself? We'd love to hear about it. At The Roast TV or hashtag RoastTV.
Try, try, try again. And if that doesn't work, have they tried trying again? Finally tonight, the federal government has begun its push to get the budget through the Senate. But as they say in the constipation community, sometimes no matter how hard you push, you'll still be blocked. And making matters worse for Treasurer Joe Hockey, seen here saying, "Ah!" A new report has cast doubt on his claim that Australians rely too much on welfare. That's because in the past 10 years, the number of Australians receiving weekly welfare payments has dropped from 23% to 18.5%. And fewer people are claiming unemployment and parenting benefits, the age pension, or most other forms of welfare support. Which means the age of entitlement is dead. Rest in peace, catchy slogan, we very much knew ye, as ye was repeated all the time. And while the number of people relying on welfare has declined over the past 10 years, Joe Hockey is trying to make sure we never end up relying on it again by making it really hard to get. Because if you've started doing something well, you never need to prepare for the worst.
I'm doing it!
Well done. Take away the net.
What?
You're doing great. You don't need a net anymore.
What if I fall?
Don't fall.
Yeah, but what if I do and there's no net to catch me?
Listen, no one's died because there wasn't a net.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the last guy, he died because the rope snapped.
Oh, God! Oh, God! Ah!
Of course, that guy could have avoided that problem by not doing something stupid like tightrope walking. As for the rest of us, well, with the government hard at work removing our welfare safety net, good luck avoiding the risks associated with being alive. First tip, stay out of the Middle East. Second tip, guard your chips. I got no chips. Well, that was just a small smattering of what's wrong with the world today. Good night.